So what if you could take the entire complex life of a plant and translated it bit by bit into a computer model that could predict its future? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We are decoding the code of growth itself.
Okay, just imagine this for a second. You have two seeds, totally identical. You plant them in the exact same system, give them the exact same food. One grows into this perfect, beautiful head of lettuce. The other one? It bolts. It becomes bitter, a total loss. So what happened? It feels random, right? But it's not. There's this secret language going on inside that plant, a constant conversation of signals and responses. And we're about to translate that entire conversation into code.
You see, every plant runs on this kind of internal clock. But, and this is the key, that clock can be sped up or slowed way down depending on what's happening around it. This is that secret code we're cracking, turning these biological rules into bits and bytes, so we can actually predict what that plant is going to do next.
Now, the science behind all this actually has a name. It's called phenology, and really, it's all about timing in nature. It's the key to answering the big questions, like when do plants decide to grow or flower or make fruit? And most importantly, why do they do it then? This focus on timing and triggers is exactly what our computer model is built to copy.
Okay, so to really get how this model works, let's think about a plant's life like it's a video game. To grow, to level up from a sprout to a full-grown plant, it can't just sit there. It has to earn a very specific kind of currency.
And here's the first rule of the game, that currency isn't time. A plant honestly doesn't care if 30 days have gone by. What it really cares about, what it's counting, is how much energy, specifically in the form of heat, it's been able to soak up during those 30 days.
And that brings us to the core mechanic of our whole game, thermal time. You'll also hear it called growing degree days, or GDD for short. Think of GDD as the experience points, the XP, that the plant has to collect. Every single stage of its life, from being a tiny seed to a big head of lettuce, has a specific XP cost. It has to pay that cost in GDD before it can level up.
And this model is super specific. For the lettuce we're simulating, the code sets a default value of 45 GDD. That's the price, the XP cost, to grow one new leaf. So the plant has to get out there and earn those 45 units of heat before it gets to move on to the next leaf stage.
But of course, there's a twist. The speed at which our plant earns that XP isn't a sure thing. The environment acts like a whole set of game rules, throwing in modifiers, power-ups, and even debuffs that can totally change how fast the game is played.
So our first game modifier is daylight. The model has a critical number hardwired into it, 12 hours of light. As long as the days are shorter than that, the plant's happy. It just focuses on growing bigger leaves. But the second the days get longer than 12 hours, it gets a powerful signal. A signal that starts pushing it way faster towards flowering, or what growers dread, bolting.
Now, this next rule is one of the coolest parts of the whole simulation. You'd think stress, right? Like too much heat or not enough water. You'd think that would slow a plant down. But nope, the model actually captures this amazing biological trick called the escape response. When the plant gets stressed, it panics. It literally hits the accelerator and speeds up its development by 50%. It's a desperate gamble to try and reproduce before it's too late.
All right, so we've got our currency, the GDD, and we've got our environmental rules that can change the game. So let's see how it all plays out as our digital plant starts leveling up on its journey from a tiny seed to a crunchy salad.
The simulation tracks the plant through these key milestones. It all starts with germination. The game begins. Then, after it earns enough GDD, it hits first leaf, level 1 achieved. It keeps adding leaves, leveling up, until it gets to head initiation. That's when the prize, the head of lettuce, really starts to form. And finally, after banking hundreds of GDD, it reaches harvest maturity. That's the win condition. That's what we're aiming for.
But, like any good game, there is a serious failure state. There's a game over screen that every single grower wants to avoid. And it's the very thing this model is designed to predict, the risk of bolting.
So how does the model know that we're heading for trouble? Well, it's constantly checking for a list of triggers. Are the daylight hours creeping over 14 hours? Check. Is the temperature getting above 25 degrees Celsius? Check. Has this combo of heat and long days been going on for more than a week? And is the plant old enough, mature enough to even listen to these signals? If you start ticking off enough of these boxes, that bolting risk just skyrockets.
Okay,
We've learned the rules, we know the currency, we know the risks. It's time to put it all together and watch a full playthrough of our digital plant's entire life, just as the code simulates it.
So here it is, the simulation in action. Day after day, the model is calculating the GDD earned and tracking how far along the plant is. But you have to look at that last column. At the same time, it's calculating that bolting risk. You can see it, right? As the plant gets bigger and the days pile up, that risk factor just keeps climbing. It is a constant race between growth and stress.
And that's really the magic of this whole thing. It isn't just looking at one variable. It's the way it weaves everything together. The thermal time, the hours of daylight, all those stress factors to create this living, breathing simulation of a plant's growth rate. What we've just walked through, that's the digital blueprint for one single plant. But it just begs the question, right? If we can model one life with this much detail, what's really stopping us from simulating an entire farm? Or even an entire ecosystem? That is the incredible future a technology like this is pointing us towards.